Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good. So, we're back with writing on our fantasy sci-fi book. We're going to be doing chapter 2, getting into at least chapter 3 today. Super excited for that. I'm going to get chat up real quick. Hope everybody is having a great start to their day at minimum. Hope the rest of it goes well also. So when we last left off, we got chapter one roughed in. We don't have a lot of the dialogue and the other little details um, done, but here's the basis of it. Um, our character went out, went out with to have friends and fun with his friends. He then ends up meeting up with his ex-girlfriend. They come back to his place for a torrid night, which we don't actually cover in the chapter. Then after that, basically, um, she lets him know she's leaving, which I didn't dialogue out yet, but basically it's kind of like a second breakup. He decides he's going to get his stuff together. Like all true addicts, he convinces himself he needs one last hurrah. Um, so he decides to then go to his friends in chapter 2 in order to go grab some stuff, which we have not named the drug yet. Um, I'm going to name it today. I just don't have it named a second. It might not be on stream. It might be literally later today. So let's start with the second chapter that we'll be working on right now. We're, of course, discovery writing for the most part. I do have a rough outline of what we're doing up to a certain point. We do not have Act 3 at all because I don't know where we're going to start Act 3. Honestly, don't know how many chapters there are going to be between here and Act 3. And so, it'd be fun to explore and find that out ourselves, right? So, when I do the redrafting of this, I'm not sure what tense it's going to stay in, or if when he stops by Zach and Sarah's, we're going to make this more of an actual first person in the tense situation where he has the experience actively, or if we leave it in this state of what I would consider almost a passive state in which it was happenstantially this is what happened. So I sat in the shower thinking about how broke I had become since losing my job. You know what? I think we could just put was since losing my job a couple months ago. Who would want to hang out, especially knowing it was going to be my last time getting high? My first stop. See, this is where I'm not really sure what tense or how much we want to go into this. My confusion on is that I don't want to go into a huge scene or scenario or have multiple chapters where we're just dropping by people's houses to visit them and stuff like that if it's not going to add something substantial to the overall story. I also want to make sure that yep, good. So my first stop was Zach and Sarah's, who were planning on getting contracted to each other. This is just married, by the way, and I'm going to put this right here. And we might just call it married for the ease of not having it sound complicated. Or do we want to just call it like that, right? To each other and had been dating for the last 2 years. Oh, you know what? Let's not mention that yet, but let's figure that out. Hey, Vital Doug, good morning. They were the most likely to have money. See, good thing I didn't put like they were broke, right? Because they were the most likely to have money to pay off the front of stuff from the last night. Um, let's just put who it is because we're on a space station. This is one of the things that is bugging me a little bit. Is it's awkward saying last night and today and stuff like that when I know that day and night are probably not the same thing when you're living on a space station. I mean, we'll get into that later and I'll try to fix it up, but let's fix that. So we'll just put it directly from Trag and just say who it is, correct? Oh, you know what? I've got the name for our stuff right here, guys. Boom, boom, boom. And do we want to italicize it because we're entering it? But let's go like this. We'll just call it Bliss, right? Bliss is a great name for a drug. Let's not put that out there actually now that I think about it. I don't want to be responsible for naming some new thing, but we just fixed that. Oh, okay, boom. We've now fixed that. See how fast this is going now that we actually have an idea of what we're doing? He likes Bliss. We now know the drug's name. That's going to simplify it. Let's go. Yeah, I'll put that up into the details later on. Hope you guys are all rocking it today. Still waking up. It is 5 a.m. So let's just be honest. I don't have my stuff together all the way. But we are flying through this. So he goes to his friends, convincing them to give him their money so he can get a hookup from his drug dealer. So that's what we're doing right here. We can pop that out because we're actually doing it. We don't have to, he goes to his friends anymore. When he goes to see if he can get some stuff, is that going to be a separate thing? That's what I'm always asking. Okay, do we want to expound on chapter 2, combine the him getting the money? This is always. Do you think that having this scene explained out with conversations adds value to the story, or do you think it just lengthens it, making it where we have a whole bunch of chapters of blah 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 before we get to the action? And see, that's the confusing part right there. I do plan on when we get past the rough draft point changing a lot of this where we just say what happens into show don't tell and putting some dialogue interactions. So the tense of this is probably going to change anyway, just so you guys know. So let's just push forward into chapter 2, right? When he goes, I feel that we need to actually have more in chapter 2, and this needs to be chapter 3 right here, guys. Chapter 4 is going to be assemble the team, right? Boom. Okay. Well, 3. Okay, so we now know that that's going to happen there. Do we want to make this, you know what? Let me look at this real quick. I sat in the shower thinking about how broke I was since losing my job a couple months ago. That doesn't read well at all, just to be honest. I'm doing amazing. I'm going to blue highlight this because I don't like how that sounds at all, honestly. So we know we're going to change the wording on that later on. Who would want to hang out, especially knowing it was going to be my last time getting high? My first stop, okay, my first stop was Zach and Sarah, who were planning to get married or okay, contracted through marriage to each other. Let's change this out because I don't like that. Oh, it's going to go well. Thank you very much for the positive stuff, though. Contracted to each other through marriage and had been dating for 2 years. They were the most likely to have the money to pay off the front of bliss from Trag. Okay, boom. That's seeming good. Okay, they were always willing to hang out with me. I think with me is given. So let's okay. Let's read through this. They were always willing to hang out, often having a fresh meal to share. Okay, so boom, we've condensed that. We made it sound better. Oh, that's very cool. I'm glad you finally got that taken care of. Hope you're doing awesome, by the way. I always hope you guys are doing awesome. Okay, even though they also did bliss. Okay, even though I don't think we need even though in here. I actually don't like it at all. So let's just zap that out of the way. They also had okay. And we'll read this and we'll see how this sounds. Oh, let's get rid of the blue on it. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's put their names because we want names more than once for sure. Zach and Sarah also had their own addictions, including bliss. I thought I put but, but managed to keep themselves together, staying employed and maintaining and almost normal life. So that sounds reasonable, right? Okay, so now let's fix that. Yeah, I did mean maintaining. Hmm. So that was retrospective. Let's cut this scene. Do we want to have the scene where he asked them for the money? Do we feel that that adds value? Do we want to make them endearing, or do we want to just write, "I was able to get the money from them" and move to chapter 3? See what I mean? Like, how far do we want to get into each one of the? Well, that's not a full chapter, so that answers that question right there, right, guys? Let me get a little bit more coffee in me. We have 2 hours this morning, so we're not in as big a rush, you know. It's kind of a nice thing. So let me think here. Boom. Space station. Yeah, I did mean a space. Do we need to say space station, or can we could just say a station at this point and assume the reader is able to track? Because I feel anybody reading can track. I'm going to say it one more time. We'll leave it like that, just in case they didn't pick up the first time we called it a space station. Who knows? I don't know how many times we have to drop the same thing before we can not have to worry about that. But arrived at their section of the space station quicker than I had expected. Not. I'm gonna grab a Kleenex real quick so I can think of it. Yeah, but that's what I would hope too. So going forward, we're just going to say station and just leave it. I think that sounds right too. After chapter 3 or 4, if they don't pick up the fact that we're in space, of course, then that's why we have second draft, third draft, and revisions and stuff, right? And so, yeah, at this point, we'll leave it how it is. From here on, we'll go with station. If when I'm reading through it later or have people reading through it dry, they're like, I got confused, I'll fix it. That's why we have revisions. Yes, you guys are awesome. That's a good revisions are our magic tool at this point, right? Okay. I arrived at their section of the space station quicker than I had expected, not providing enough time to think fully out how I would ask them for the money to pay. Okay. Okay, I like that. That works. Let's move past that then. So this is where we're going to give a trait to Sarah. Let's find Sarah back here. What kind of trait do we want to give Sarah? We want to give a distinguishing trait. Old fashioned. Oh, okay, boom. I like how they fixed us there. Okay, so Sarah, even though we're way in the future, likes Earth food, specifically Southern food. Anybody okay with that? I'm okay with that. I like it. That's what we're going to say she does. Okay. I like Southern food, you guys. The food's going to be a thing. Okay, let's look at this baby and let's get it forward. I feel that they would. Well, let's get that fixed. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be her perspective of um Southern food, right? Because obviously they're not going to have the same food. Maybe I should write her perspective of Southern food up there. Let's do that so we're not confused later, so that we have this in our stored thing. That's a good question, though, or statement, actually. So don't want to get too much into that, Zach. And all right, we just so it's never going to be correct. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so that's gonna be easy. So her thing is she's gonna be, well, unless she dies, because we don't know if she's gonna die. Now this is where we have to think, because we're now about to. Now we have to actually come up with dialogue. Ooh. Yeah, you're correct because it's a sci-fi. We're years in the future. We're hundreds of years past a giant scourge. Her perspective of what Southern food is not going to be accurate at all, and so that will be one of the traits we use on her for a while, unless she dies. That we'll find out soon. Message them. I had arrived. Copy this. Move that to there, right? Boom. Okay, boom, boom. And so we've got that. I think that's gonna be good. So I'm trying to think of where we go. He's about to come up. He's wanting to score money from them so that he can go pay off the front from the previous night so he can get more stuff. Well, it's not stuff anymore. So he can get more bliss in order to party with them, supposedly. But basically, he's trying to get somebody else to pay off his debt so he can do the last hurrah thing, right? We all know that that's what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to make sure that our thing's working properly right there. Yep. I always like to check that just in case all of a sudden I go silent. Okay. Do we need to describe how we got up there? No, right? I'm not sure if it would be a door. Okay. I thought worked out was a single word, but okay. We'll go along with that. Okay. That's right. Good thing that they're going to fix us on shish kebabs. Shish kebabs is two separate words? Is this true? Is this really two separate words like this? It's not a single word? WTF. Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you, until this moment right now, I have legitimately thought shish kebabs was a single word. Who would have known? Well, a lot of you guys probably knew. I didn't know. So, okay, boom, boom. I think that that's good. She's making. Okay, boom. Sarah yelled, "You're just in time. I'm making my famous southern shish kebabs." Like that. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so next, boom, boom. I don't think we have to. I was gonna say I started with small talk. So this is where we switch this to this because it's internal thought. Sat down thinking I would be better off with starting with small talk, right? I'm really honestly not sure how much to use this thing where we do my god, I gotta wake up here, guys. Italicized for internal mental thought. I know that supposedly conversations that you have telepathically or whatever are supposed to be done that way in sci-fi. I don't know who made that rule up. I'll go along with it though. And so obviously we're going to have to make it consistent throughout the thing though. So I sat down thinking I would be better off starting with small talk. Okay. Italicized, boom, boom. Good morning, Avallonis. I hope you're having a great day also. Okay, I like how they fixed our stuff there. Thank you. Okay, I'm going back up to that, but it's still. Why did they? Hold on. Let me find it real quick. I was wondering why that's so weird. Hold on. Shish kebabs. Kebabs. I'm glad you know. That's why I thought it was weird. I'm just like, and it is two separate words though, right? Shish. Okay. Boom. Boom. Zach, without wasting any time at all, asked, "Do you think you might be able to score?" Let's just be honest. We know that they're going to be used in credits, right? Okay. Boom. Not yet come up with a. Okay, I'll go along with that. Thank you very much, Nanda Freak. Nita Freak. Yeah, man. Now I put your name together all the way. Nita Freak. That's a well done. I would not have put together how to do that, to be honest. Interesting way to say that. Okay, so we've got shish kebabs. We've got her famous southern shish kebabs. Let's just be honest, he's probably just going to transfer. I thought I put the. When that thing turns off, it just beeps at me, letting me know. Which I'm glad it lets me know. So Amper's gonna be a new drug. It's gonna amp people, obviously. Okay, we've got that. I'm trying to think of what we're trying to say here, guys. I looked at the amount Zach had transferred, and it was enough to pay off my front. Let's put some of what he was wanting. Because we still need this guy to be in debt, right? Okay, so let's look at this. Let's figure this out right now. Thank you for saving me on the shish kebab thing. It wasn't correcting us, or I don't know. It's still 5 in the morning, guys. I looked at the amount Zach had transferred, and it was enough to pay off, comma, enough to pay off my front. And include part of what he was wanting. Okay, so he's just gonna front the rest. Does that make sense at this point? I think we've got it. Okay. I almost want to call it vittles. Do we want to call it vittles? Do you know what vittles are, you guys? I don't know if I spelt that right. Oh, well, you know what? We won't call it vittles because I'm not sure how to spell vittles correctly. I don't use that term very much. Okay, boom. Want to make sure we grab shish kebabs from up here. Honestly, don't remember exactly where we set it. Right there. Boom. Okay, boom. Okay, we're almost done with chapter 2, you guys. Let's just be honest. I'm thinking that's smooth. Like chapter 3 is where we finally get into the meat, right? Well, I guess we're getting into the meat with the shish kebabs, but whatever. Okay, so they're all lovey at each other. Boom, boom. Whew, let me think of what we, or how am I saying this? Thought we had already defined that Trag's place was Trag's place. Let's go up here. Boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun, dun. Really thought that we had written it. Oh yeah, there are Trags. I don't know why they're trying to tell me we're doing it wrong there. Trags. No, I really meant Trags. Oh, never mind. Do I mean it like that? I don't know. Right now it's still early. We'll go. Okay. I finished before them and decided to excuse myself so I could head down to Trags. Let's just call it a club because it really is just a club, right? Trags Club. Wouldn't it be possessive? I swear to God, it's a possessive form. Filled out very one-dimensional on the dialogue part, and we probably do want more dialogue in there at some point. I think we don't need down to trags. I think we can just have two trags, right? We could, so I could head to Trags Club and take care of scoring the Bliss and Amper. I'll be right back, I mentioned while leaving. I think not left. Oh, why? Well, I was putting lefted. Okay, so we got him leaving. We don't have it overly descriptive. If we want to make it more descriptive, that's why we get our revision stuff and blah blah blah, right? So, let's look through that. Obviously, that's the rough draft part. Guys, this is what happens here. We're to chapter 3. Let's look at this. This is where we want stuff to happen, stuff to happen. So it's not going to go the way he wants it. Okay. We already know that this is going to happen, so let's kick that down there. I'll actually scoot that out and delete it as we do this. When he goes to see if he can get some stuff with the money he gathered from his friends, the drug dealer, his friend, and we've already established because we rolled the dice, the drug dealer is his friend, takes the money from his debts and basically is going to use it to give him an opportunity, right? Okay, let's think of how we're going to do this. Because we know that the crime boss is here, the crime boss is people, a corporate officer. I'm going to fix this. We know that we actually mean want to provide me details. Oh, because that was me providing them details. I don't want to do that. I walked in and noticed the Trag's acquaintance. Now we're going to have to name the crime boss, guys. Let's go back up to our stuff. Go to our places. Blah, blah. We've got Brandon. We've got blah, blah, blah. We've got Frenzy Drag's crime boss. Crime boss, after they get past a certain point, is a disposable character and we're able to kill him. Okay, so anybody think that we need a specific fancy name for our crime boss? Salvador. That sounds crime bossy, right? Boom. We now know Salvador's name. We go back down here. We just made it. For anybody named Salvador, I'm not taking a shot at you. Yeah, it's a cool name. Okay? It is a cool name, just so you guys know. I like it. Ooh. Okay, so let's stop this here, right? What there? Boom, boom. I'll fix this in a second. It didn't do this last time. I don't know why my headphones don't know if they want to flip off on me during while we're doing stuff or don't. It's super confusing. I walked in and noticed that Trag's acquaintance Salvador was sitting with a guy obviously I had never seen before. How do we want to say that this guy's a crime boss without saying he's a crime boss directly? Or do we just say, you know what? Hmm. I'd always heard rumors that Salvador was a crime boss. And okay, so that's it. We establish it through rumors, right? That sound good to you guys? I think it is. Okay, I walked in and noticed that Trag's acquaintance Salvador was sitting with a guy I had never seen before. I had always heard rumors that Salvador was a crime boss and Trag's main connection. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to change this, right? Because we're going to have some thugs with them. Oh, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have changed that like that. Let's go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Okay, I walked in and noticed that Trag's acquaintance Salvador was sitting with a guy I had never seen before and two others. Okay. I had always heard rumors that Salvador was a crime boss and Trag's main connection. Okay, look, that sounds good. Okay, one of the men looked way too well dressed for this part of the station, and especially this place. Okay, that works. That's okay. So these guys are thugs. Okay, so we've got partially cyborgy guys. And let's just straight up be like mostly. So it's super boom boom. The other two looked to be mostly cyborgs and more the kind of guys you would need to break somebody's leg or guard somebody important. Boom. So we've got our cyborg bodyguards, right? Um, which are not going to be Salvador's bodyguards. We'll have to make up our corporate dude's name in a second, too, you guys. That'll be a. So now we're at the part where he's going to try to get the stuff from Trag. Boom. Okay, Trag motion for me to come over, which I did with a slight amount of reservation considering the company he was setting with. I don't think we need that talked more part, but let's leave it in there for a second. This is a rough draft, right? We're roughing this. So, of course, this is where. Okay, so this is where his friend is not going to give him the more stuff without some obligations on it, right? Okay, so let's think about how we do this. Let's make sure I still have sound. That's always good. You guys usually tell me when I don't, so. Okay, so at this point, Trag's gonna get the money out of him, right? Trag motioned for me to come over, which I did with a slight amount of reservation. considering the company he was with. Tragg smiled. I was hoping to see you today. What can I do for you? As he stood up, motioning. Oh, standing up and motioning me over to the bar to talk more. Okay, we've got that fixed. Deep breath, right? Okay. Hmm. Okay, I'll agree with them on that. On the display. That would make sense. Why was I wanting it to be in the display? I don't know. Okay. Oh, question mark. Good point. Okay, all squared up now. What did you want to talk about, Trag asked. Okay, so he's already got the money. Okay, so now it's blackmail time, right? I'm trying to think of how he would say this to where like he's friends with the guy, right? But at the same time, he wants him to do something for his boss. And so mm, let's back and forth with a little bit. What did they just? Oh, okay, I see what they changed. Guys, this is where we get a little rough, right? We have to make up what just happened. So he's with his buddies. Do we just want him to just directly go into explaining that he needs a favor? Or do we want Sam to panic for a second Ask back and forth. Do we need a back and forth on this? Does that add any value? Sam, we've been friends for a while now, and I would really love to, but I can't do a front today, Trag calmly explained. Okay, okay, boom. So there's our panic state. Go to this. Okay, I feel that's good. Now, what are we gonna say happens next, guys? This is where we are about to discover. This chapter 4 we'll be doing with a different day. Right now, we've got to deal with technopathic ability and an opportunity, right? Okay, so boom, boom. Let's think about this. Trying to think of how the drug dealer dude would angle to get him to do what he wants and how he would say it, and I honestly don't have a great context to that. And obviously, I'm going to change this. Well, we know that that's witnessed by the crime boss, drug dealer, and the corporate dude, right? See, I don't think he would say it like that. See, I was visiting with Salvador the other day. Well, is whiz not a real word? Oh, whiz with a H. Okay, H. See, Sam's Salvador over there has a problem. It's a tech thing. Not my cup of tea, but I mentioned you were a whiz at that kind of thing. So I'm not really sure how we're saying this. It's still a first draft, so it doesn't have to be perfect since we're gonna at least do like 5 revisions on this thing. But I don't want it to be confusing when I go back to revise it and me have to have more work than I want to have. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's read through this. That's a long diatribe, right? I might have to fix this later on and put Sam talking in there. See, Salvador over there has a problem. It's a tech thing, not my cup of tea. But I mentioned you were a whiz at that kind of thing. We got to talking about your knack with technology and you being a technopath. Well, after that, he said he would like to talk to you. Now I have him here, and he brought. Now I have him. Oh. Let's just go boom. Now he's brought some corporate guy with him. So if you could help me out and help him out, let's just go with help us out, right? Okay, that sounds good, right? Everybody think that that's fine? Hey, thank you very much for lurking. I hope you're having a great day, by the way. I think we have that right now. Just so you guys know. Dun, dun, dun. Basically, they're going to want him to break into a file. Guys, I have not thought out the item, the device at all. I know that it's from one of the places that's a elven place that's from when the war happened and stuff. It's war technology, but not war technology. Let's just be honest. Mhm. I'm gonna leave his whole. Do we want to leave that right like that? Forgot my X in there. Period. Boom. Okay, I think we have that part done. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, so we're not naming the corporate dude. Let's put the corporate dude up here. Boom. Corporate dude is disposable, by the way. Okay. That's right. We can kill corporate dude and his bodyguards after they've taken care of their stuff. We don't really care if they get killed. So once we get to the point that we're killing people, if they're in the room, they're part of the dice roll on that stuff. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. So this is the part we're at right now. So he's a technomancer, so he can fill all of the technology. So he has a connection to all that stuff. So in all honesty, he would by at this proximity, which I don't know if we should establish that at this point, or if we wait. Let's see. Boom. So we're going to establish that. No, I did mean glanced me over. Should I? I'm going to put it back to glanced me over. I'm ignoring their suggestion. Comma. Okay, boom. Okay, I sat down with Salvador and the three other men while Trag walked to the door, closing the place. I knew right at that second it must be something serious. Salvador glanced over, as did glanced me over. Salvador glanced me over, as did the rest of the men at the table as I sat down. Let's fix this, and let's put that here. Okay, boom. As I sat down, Salvador glanced me over, as did the rest of the men at the table. I sensed the technology that made up the two cyborgs, most of it high dollar, some of it lethal, along with something strange coming from a metal case the man from the corporation held. Okay, boom, we've got that fixed now. Right? Now all we got to do is a whole bunch, guys. Mm, that's right, we're going to have whiskey right here. Did I misspell whiskey? Oh, yep, I'm always missing that. Not without speaking. Okay, that looked good. Boom, boom. Okay, didn't try to correct it that time. Salvatore took a large drink of whiskey, and without even a pause, that pause is incorrect. There, they fixed it. Okay. got the M. Boom. Tumbled out. Okay, so we got words hitting him, nerves and stuff, because he. Okay, boom, boom. Guys, we're not gonna have time for him to break into this thing with me having 4 minutes. I'm about to have to go get around, which literally means that we're gonna have to conclude this. So I'm gonna clue you guys in. It's technology. Phew, I bet you guys did not see that coming. It's not just technology. They are going to break into a data file. Well, now that's later on. That's the data file. They're gonna go planet side. Okay. Don't worry, that's gonna be complicated. We won't go planet side yet in this chapter. We got the Ascendal team, we've got a space trip and stuff like that. Somebody will die. This could happen anywhere, by the way. I don't know it's gonna happen here. It could happen here. Could happen back here. Somebody's gonna die pretty quick. We don't know who. He is gonna drag his friends on this trip. We already have established all these friends are going with him, right? So that assemble the team chapter, that's gonna be him getting these friends who he drags into his adventure. Oren, Blake and Toby, Zach and Sarah are coming. Brandon, our aspiring writer, and Bard. Now, is he a real Bard? I don't know. We'll find that out. Trag Parson is coming too. All these people can die, just so you guys know that. Um, these many of the Vikings, they're actually just disposable characters. That's not friends. So I'll have to throw them back up into the Vikings are disposable characters. Let's get these guys out of here, right? Oh, the Vikings are disposable. He's not friends with the disposable Vikings. One of the Vikings is not disposable, guys. Just so you know, one of the Vikings is a beast. We're going to use him. He's also a sociopath, to be honest, but that's its own thing. Okay, so that's where we're at for the day. Is we got very into chapter 4 or chapter something, chapter 3. Yeah, chapter 3. We got a lot of chapter 3 done. We didn't get to chapter 4 yet. Obviously, chapter 3 has a lot more meat than chapter 1 and 2. Chapter 1 and 2 were like poof poof, right? I'm going to expound out this, by the way, chapter 1. Um, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming. I think you guys see what's about to happen, right? Uh, we're about to go be getting this guy in some trouble. Real quick, I'm going to raid over to somebody before it is time for me to get around. It's going to be time very quickly. Hold on 1 second. Uh, I don't know who we should raid this morning. Let's see if anybody is writing this morning. I'm the only one doing the writing this morning, of course. Let's check if Tuniversal's on. Let's go to Tuniversal. He's in Starfield. He's going to be playing that. He's always excited to have us raid him over. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for being amazing. I will, of course, will be back writing on Wednesday and on Friday, and so that'll be exciting. The rest of the week we'll be doing video gaming and stuff like that. Peace, very best wishes. You guys stay epic, and thank you guys for hanging out.